Sam from Sound on Sound magazine here. I'm at SynthFest UK in Sheffield. I'm with Tony from Exclusively Analogue. How are you?
Good, thank you very much. Glad to be here, second time too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And we're standing behind an absolutely monolithic synth that you've built.
Yeah.
So this is a modular, which I gather is a sort of homage to the great EMU modular.
Yes. So basically, the two systems I've got here. The EMU modular systems first came out in 1972. I progressed from that. So the circuitry, 1970s circuitry, that's basically this, which I've called the Pioneer Tribute System. So it's all the original circuitry, but with new panels, and I've had to redo circuit boards, etc. Source all the original parts, which is not easy. So quite difficult to do, but that was what I first created, very limited numbers. But then what I subsequently did was go, look, if Dave Rossum and EMU had progressed on, what would they have done? And I spoke to Dave, and he said, well, I started designing the SSM chips, and I was starting to use them, and then you had the Curtis chips came out, which are now have been reissued. So I said, look, if EMU progressed on, what would they have done? So then I basically designed this, the Pioneer system, which uses, for the oscillators and envelope generators, Curtis chips, which you can get, so it's easy to do. Redesigned with modern circuit boards. So none of these had through plating, so quite difficult to actually make, whereas this is all done properly, all set up. So it makes it a lot easier to build. But what I have done is maintained particularly the filters. I can use the original design low-pass filters, the original design universal active filter, maintain the filter circuitry, plus using some of the SSM chips and SSI I've now taken over from that. So in terms of the sound, you have that EMU sound, but you're now using the better quality in terms of the oscillators and the envelope generators, so easier to build. And then I've designed some additional features into extra modules as well. So this becomes, if you want something that is an EMU modular, but it's not, it's an exclusively analog system, but it has the look and feel of the EMU modular.
So what to you is distinctive about the EMU modular sound?
In terms of sound, the low-pass filter in particular is very good. And a lot of people have said the universal active filter, that's one there, and the same built into this. A lot of people said it was the best filter ever built because you have the different outputs. Certainly I've listened to all sorts of analog synths over the years. I just fell in love with this, like just the look of it, the feel of it, the fact that it can be pre-patched. To set this up, you only need to have the output leads, basically. That's it. You can then go around and override things and move stuff around as you can with any modular, but you've got a lot of wires already, the standard patching is already there, so just switch it on and go. So
it's not a freely configurable modular, as in you can choose, I want this number of this module and this number of this module. It comes in a set format.
No, you can have as many modules as you like. When I put this together, I had to decide how many oscillators do I want, how many channels do I want, what do I want, how many. You can move it around as you want. But you can do, the beauty is you have the links so the three oscillators feed the three inputs. Sorry, two inputs, I put this one in. The filter is automatically fed from the envelope generator. Input for that is linked, but I can override it. The output from the filter goes to the VCA, already linked. The envelope for the VCA, it's linked. So it's there, so you don't have to start, I want to start using this, okay. You end up with a massive patch leads all over the thing, you can't see what on earth you're doing.
Yeah.
So the beauty of this system is the fact that it is pre-packed. I mean, I've been messing about, but basically, all you need is the two outputs, and it'll run. But I like the whole look, feel of it, and the fact, big hands trying to use, the Eurorack system where everything's like this big, and I'm going, I can't do that. It's just, this works.
And does it play nicely with other modular formats?
Yes, you can just plug anything else. Any analog synthesizer is basically, you either have a sound source, be it an oscillator, or an output from a filter, whatever, comes out and can go into this. And if you have a control voltage to a modulator, same thing, that can just go into this, or this can feed into other systems. So, you know, there are loads of capabilities as far as that's concerned.
Wow, well, it looks quite the beast.
Yeah.
So if I wanted to invest in this sort of a system roughly of this spec, what sort of price point would I be looking at?
Well, because it's all hand-built and built to order, that's part of the name exclusively Analogue, is because it's not mass-produced, it is exclusive. As an example, the smaller system here is approximately 5,000. This, maybe not quite up to the 10,000 bracket, but getting close to it, potentially. It depends. What I've got to look at in terms of building this is, obviously, if I was building thousands, then the overall cost would come down, but I'm not. I'm building it in very limited numbers. These are somewhat easier to get parts for than that. So perhaps this will be just that little bit lower, but this is the first Pioneer system. But there isn't another Pioneer system in existence.
Wow.
There's 8 of these systems, and that's it.
Right.
There'll only ever be 8 of these because I've
That doesn't get much more exclusive than that.
Yeah, because talking to Dave Rossum, I said, look, I want to do this. I want to build my own system, but I will have the spare parts. And he said, that's fine. It doesn't mind that, because the other advantage is by doing this, I can repair the old systems.
Now, how many of the original EMU systems were made?
Approximately 100.
Right, okay.
So they're not that many.
Yes.
And they are seriously expensive now.
Yeah.
There's several of the systems I've worked on. There's one in Chicago University, which is a big system. There's Ben Edwards, known as Benj.
Yeah.
He's got quite a big system. In fact, this cabinet was one of the original cabinets I had, the first system I ever had back in '92. Long story, I've ended up getting this cabinet back because he took the modules that were in this originally, the original system from the 70s, and shoved them into a huge, big system that he's got.
Nice.
There's just so much you can do with a module. That's one of the things I like about it. You can, create loads of different sounds.
Yeah, and it's just beautiful.
Yeah, well, that's, beauty. Blue's my favourite colour, so.
What's not to like?
Yeah.
Wow, thank you, Tony.
Okay, pleasure.
Nice to meet you.
And you.